Hi everyone! I'm back for another sketchbook tour. I thought I would try and decorate the table a little bit, but I don't know if it looks really stupid or not. This is just a pillowcase. So it's fine for now. It just kind of spices it up a little bit, I think. But yeah, so it's been an entire year since I've done a sketchbook tour, which I'm going to just add a quick little disclaimer. I didn't enjoy working in this one. That's probably why I took so long. But I'll kind of explain as I go. I'm going to try and not be too negative as I go through it, because obviously, you know, I actually calculated roughly like the percentage of this sketchbook that I actually like, and it's about 50%, and even then it's like only bits and pieces of that 50%. So I'm going to try and just point out the bits that I do like, and you can take for granted that if I don't mention anything, then I just don't like it. So this sketchbook, first of all, is Sea White of Brighton, and all media, acid-free, cartridge paper, 140 GSM. One of the reasons I think I didn't like this sketchbook is because I actually started in another one. Okay, look, I'll just start and I'll kind of explain as I go. So, oops, that's the fun of having some fabric underneath as your background. Started July 9th, 2022, finished April 13th, 2023. So it's been a very long time. You can see that these pages were taken out and added into this sketchbook. I had started in another one, and the paper was fine. It was nice and smooth to draw on, but then when I was using, you can kind of see there's like bleeding and all of that, and when I went to use ink on it, you'll see in a couple of pages, it's really weird. It like absorbed the vibrancy out of the ink, so it just looked really crap. So I was really unhappy with working in that sketchbook, so I just tore out the pages and stapled them together, and it took me a while to find this sketchbook to work in, which actually works fine with inks. But I think by that point I was already so like frustrated with having just gone through, I think, about like 3 or 4 different sketchbooks to see kind of like what would work, that I already kind of went into this one with a kind of an irritated mindset about it. I already went in kind of not enjoying what I had been doing. So anyway, that's about as negative as I want to try and go. On the upside, this first page, I really, really like this. I don't know who she is. She just kind of popped out of my head. And I guess she's some kind of deity. Of what? I don't know. It could be nature or whatever. But like, I love her eyes. And it's just the kind of stuff that I never really draw, and I started really getting into doing all of these kind of like flowy kind of shapes and flowers and stuff. You'll see kind of like I really start getting into that excuse me, throughout the sketchbook. So she doesn't have a name, don't know who she is, but I love her. These were referenced from Pinterest. This and this actually are, if you remember in my last sketchbook tour, I was drawing a lot of like these rabbit girls who at the time were inspired by the Viera in Final Fantasy, but then I kind of turned them into my own race of people, I guess. So now they're called the Konin, and so I end up drawing them a lot. Also, if I'm clearing my throat a lot or if I sound a bit like off, it's because I'm just coming out of a cold, so please excuse that if it affects the video. But yeah, I actually really like this sketch. Also, another thing that I tried practicing a lot more in this sketchbook is just freehanding a lot of stuff with like a gel pen or whatever, but it's very liberating to not have to do like a sketch beforehand. I really like this. I really like how she's just kind of peeking out and again exploring all of these kind of ways of doing flowers or greenery that I never really do before, and that like I see everybody doing, and it always looks so nice. I really want to incorporate it into my work. This was just grass. That was last summer when it was really hot outside, and I remember being like, I'm so inspired to draw. I'm going to go outside and do some greenery. And then I did this, and I was like, okay, time to go back inside. These were preparatory sketches for like a children's book illustration that I was asked to do, which was a very exciting opportunity. It was with somebody who I've been interacting with who lives in Japan and actually is from Ireland. Actually, because of everything that's happened with that, and I've been learning Japanese and everything, and actually, very exciting, I'm going to Japan with my boyfriend in July. So that's going to be like a really amazing experience. I really can't wait. Yeah, so I mean, I have like very fond kind of association with these drawings because of everything that's kind of coming about with that. I actually really do like these drawings as well. I mean, it's kind of ironic that like these pages that I had to tear out of that previous sketchbook, I actually like the majority of the drawings in it. Yeah, I just really like how they turned out. I think this was around the same time. I started in July, so it was probably around then, I suppose, where I discovered the channel of Sophie McPike. And I got like so into her work. I still kind of am. I mean, like, I'm obsessed with what she does, and she herself is such a lovely person. You know, she herself as a person and her work like incorporate a lot of like values that I hold as well. So she's just amazing to watch. She's amazing to listen to. I really recommend going to her channel if you don't know who she is. But I started watching her videos and then getting really inspired by her. So I think that's where a lot of like this kind of flowiness comes into it. I think it was kind of unconscious at the time, but I realise now that it was just blatantly ripping off her work. But no, it was good. It's fun, and it helped me kind of loosen up a little bit as well. But I don't know if you can kind of tell here, I was using inks here, but like they're just so dull. Like they should have been a lot more vibrant. These are markers and they look grand. But I don't know, the paper just kind of like sucked it all up and ruined it. I still actually really like that drawing though. Just a drawing of one of my Black Mage concepts. This was kind of like a continuation of the last page. Here again, very inspired by Sophie McPike. I was really kind of leaning into that whole flowy, flowery kind of aesthetic. Oh yeah, and here I was just messing around with the inks again, and no, it just wasn't working. Wasn't working for me. You can see here it just completely bled through, and it looks like a mess, you know. I know some people don't mind that in their sketchbooks if ink or materials bleed through, but it really does bother me. These drawings, I actually quite like this one. These aren't too bad either. They were done with one of those pencils with the multicolored nibs. Yeah, that was fun to use. They do end up looking a little bit muddy, but they're still nice. This is just some kind of, oh yeah, I kind of explored that a little bit in the next page, but like a three-headed deity. It looks like it's fairly inspired by like Hinduism, I guess. I can't remember where I kind of got the idea for it, but yeah. So then this now is the actual sketchbook. So I was testing inks here, and immediately it's so much better. The colour sits really nicely on top of it, and I just did a little scribble on top. Don't want to talk about that. This I really like again. Continuation of the idea of that three-headed deity, where, you know, like the heads are kind of like on a top, I guess, and they kind of spin around based on the emotion of the god. So obviously angry, neutral, and happy, and each one is represented by either a more feminine or a more masculine face, which I don't know really why I did that. It just kind of happened, but I guess. I don't know why I didn't make them all the same, but I still really like it. I really like the details that I put into it. I really like how I drew the hands. Yeah, I like it. Oh yeah, this one is obviously incredibly Sophie McPike inspired. But again, I really like it. I mean, like, the lines are incredibly messy, but much looser than I am used to doing. I have a tendency to get like very tight with my lines and my drawings, which I'll usually realize at a point and kind of pull myself back and try and get a bit looser. But these were an ink, actually. It was a calligraphy ink that I had bought from Ferris Wheel Press, I think. And it was such a shame because every time, because I got like a small little sample of it, and it was supposed to be like this, well, the way it looked online was it was this gorgeous kind of pale lavender fading into kind of a grey, I guess. It was really, really lovely. But anytime I used it, it ended up kind of green. So I was like emailing the company and being like, oh, I don't know if this is the way it's actually supposed to look or whatever. They responded to me, they sent me a free sample, they were amazing. But even that sample still ended up green, and then they didn't respond to me, which I don't really blame them, because, like, you know, it could very easily have come off as me being like, give me some more free samples, but it wasn't like that. I just really wanted the colour. I haven't used it since, which is a shame because, you know, that was the colour I really wanted. These were some expression practices from a book that I got, a book on facial expressions. I can't remember who wrote it. I will put it up on the screen, but it's one of the best expression kind of compilation books I've ever seen. So I just drew some Adachi from Persona 4 with a few of those faces. These were just palettes that I had, like, after having done a few paintings that I just really liked the colours of and I wanted to save it, so I just stuck them in. Oh, these were some draw this in your style exercises on Instagram. This one was by Artugolini. That one actually turned out quite nice. This one I didn't post. But this one was by Joryu Draws. I'll put them up on the screen as well. But yeah, I liked this one. Some more Konin drawings. This is where I was trying to come up with their name. And yeah, they're fine. Like, this one was referenced from Pinterest. I really like this one, actually. I just love how kind of like free she looks and just really kind of like, you know, dancing, or, oh, that was also a reference from Pinterest. But yeah, I just really like that kind of the feel of the drawing. Oh, these were the preparatory sketches then I did for my merchant designs, which I did do a video on, this guy and this girl, and these were just other concepts. Oh no, I did one for her as well. Yeah, I was gonna do one for my like big cat race as well, and then I just didn't because I got kind of burned out after doing the other three. So I actually really love these pages as well. Just any opportunity to play around with colour is always a good time. But here I was trying to mix the colour of the ink that I was talking about before that I didn't get. So you can kind of see I have them circled here. This was kind of, especially this one, it was kind of closer to how that looked. And I was just mixing a ton of the inks that I already had to try and make it. And I got pretty close. These were some kind of mango-y mixtures that I kind of came up with as well with other colours. And I really like these ones. I just, everything about these pages is just like, I love it. So I did some more for just for the sake of it, because to use the other side of the sheet and to create some more new colours and lovely colours and all of that. And then a little sketch of a black mage. This is an original character. Her name is Alice, but like, I can never get her design down. I never draw her. She ends up always kind of looking like my other character, Rune. So it's like, she kind of phases in and out of like designs and stuff, and I haven't really kind of solidified her. These were preparatory sketches for a commission. These were sketches for an illustration that I did, which was a redo of an old illustration about the journey to Tir na Nog, which was like the land of youth in Irish mythology. So I can put up the finished kind of image on the screen. Is this centered? Yeah, that's fine. Another Coneen girl. It's fine. Rune, my character who I draw all the time. I did a little reel of me doing this on Instagram. These were sketches for Sophie McPike. She had done this incredible series of gouache paintings called the Collectors, and she did one roughly around the time that I actually discovered her channel and I started commenting on her videos, and she did this amazing one which was the Collector of Clovers, and I was like, oh my god, it's fate. I'm meant to have that one or something. But anyway, I was trying to like redraw it in kind of my own kind of way. I was kind of just messing around with the idea. Eventually I asked her, because admittedly I hadn't asked her at this point, but later on I did ask her if I could draw it and send her like a painting of it myself, and she agreed, so that went off to her. But again, if you don't know who Sophie McPike is, please go look at her channel, because I love her work and more people need to see it. I think I had these in a video where I drew my character Rune holding a big bunch of flowers, so those are the sketches for that. More messing around. Don't really want to talk about these pages. I love this. I'm so happy with it. I have a ton of watercolors that I never use, and for some reason I just started really getting into watercolors around this time again. I don't know when it was, but I did one of those things where I made all of these little swatches from all of my watercolors, and then I kind of put them into a little bag and took out, I think it was 4 colors. So what I got was the Payne's grey kind of colour here, the green, the light purple, and the kind of the dark magenta. But yeah, that was the sketch that I kind of did for it, and then I did a kind of a more refined drawing on my iPad and printed it out and then painted it, and I really love how she turned out. This was a sketch for another one that I was going to do and I never did it, but I still kind of like the idea. Here I discovered the joys of fountain pens. I'd never really used them to draw before. I just bought myself like a really cheap like €2 one. Like, you can see the ink isn't even actually black, but it was enough to make me really like it. And I just kind of doodled around and drew kind of squiggly lines everywhere. That was really fun actually. Oh, Billow. He's my shiny Jumpluff in Pokemon Scarlet. I know I didn't colour Hoppip as shiny for some reason, but Billow is shiny and he's the most glorious pink Jumpluff ever. These were just kind of drawings that I did of his human form that I eventually did digitally. So yeah, obviously this was around New Year's as well. That's me in my big cozy hoodie, and that's covering this thing, which I really don't like. Those lumps really kind of bother me, so I just wanted to cover that up. Some more Coneen drawings. They ended up kind of a bit more realistic than I would have liked. I mean, realistic to an extent, obviously they're still very cartoony, but yeah, I really like this one. That was referenced from Pinterest. I can't remember about the others. I think I just did them from my head. This is another old original character. His name is Reese. I used to draw him so much when I was a teenager. I think I kind of came up with him when I was around like 16 or so, 15, 16. I drew him so much, and now I never draw him. My poor little baby. So neglected. But he pops up from every now and again, so that's fine. I love this page. Actually, I love this spread. This one I put on Instagram. I just really like how she turned out. And here I was just kind of doodling again, and it kind of gave birth to this character, who you'll see kind of later on, and this one, who also appears later on. I'll explain more about them later, but they kind of came into being on this page. Was that ink? I don't know. Anyway, these were just more messing around with different inks. This was also a character then that kind of appears again later on. This page is a bit embarrassing because I actually filmed a video just after the last one that I posted where I received all of these like deliveries from Christmas that I had treated myself to of art supplies. I had filmed everything. I had got the boxes, I had opened it, I'd got excited about the materials, I was showing them, I swatched them. And then at the end, I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm going to test all of these materials in an illustration, or I'm just gonna like draw stuff with it. And I totally blanked. I never did that. I finished the entire rest of the sketchbook without ever having done it. I've used these materials in the rest of the sketchbook. I just never finished the video the way that I wanted. So I have up until that point filmed and edited, and I really liked how it turned out. And I feel really bad that I never posted it, but I kind of feel like it's a bit too late now because we're in April and it was just me being like, wow, yeah, Christmas presents, wow. And I just wanted to share my excitement of getting those materials, which I wouldn't normally let myself get. So I don't know, I mean, like, would you still be interested in seeing that? Because it's not finished. I mean, I could do I could film something now and add it on to the end. I was really happy with how that came out, so I don't know. But these were just loads of inks and watercolors and stuff that I got. So yeah. So I was just kind of messing around with them after. I should have filmed this and then I didn't. Oh well. These are little drawings of me. I really like this one. She's cute. This is my boyfriend. I was really stuck on what to draw. I had no idea. You can kind of tell that the pages are really like blank. And my boyfriend was like, draw me. So there he is, meditating in his pajamas. I really like this drawing and I'm not really sure why, because she doesn't really look like herself, but I really like it. Yeah, whatever. Don't be negative. Don't be negative. Okay, so here is where those characters appear. Smile and Nap are the names that I gave them. And I don't know what they are. They're kind of like little spirits, I guess. Yeah. I did little paintings of them as well, so I'll just post kind of like an image of them up here. But they really, really made me happy at the time. Not that I was like unhappy or depressed or anything, but like I really needed a bit of a boost, and these guys gave that to me. I just think they're really cute. And then there was a third member who I came up with called Flourish, who was more of like the flower with a cute little skirt. Yup. Oh yeah, okay, so this is a self-portrait, which I am so happy with. It actually looks like me, and I just kind of did it one evening in front of the television, and I was like, I used to do portraits so often and I never do them now anymore, and it's terrible. I really enjoy doing them. So I took a photo of myself and just drew it, and I was like, oh, okay, I can still do them. That's nice. So I was really happy with that. And then because I was really pumped about the outcome of this, I was like, again, God, I sound like such a stalker. I messaged Sophie McPike and I was like, can I draw you? So she said yes, and I drew her, and that's that. She also came out quite good, I think. Admittedly, I did edit it a little bit in like on my iPad to make it look a little bit more like her, but I still like the actual drawing. So then again, I continued to ride that high, and I drew a friend of mine. At the time when I drew it, I was like, yes, this is good, this looks like her. And now I'm a bit like, no, I think I was kind of losing it there. It's fine, and she was happy with it, but I'm a bit like, I could have done better. But then I started doodling all of these like plants, and I don't really know why I started doing it, but I couldn't stop then. And I love this page, despite the bleeding. I just really like it. I never ever draw stuff like this, and it was just really, I don't know, very meditative. Oh, another cover. I should have covered them in tissue, but I guess, I mean, whatever. This is a painting, I guess you could say, of a photo that my cousin took when he went to visit Tokyo. It's funny because now that I am going to Japan in July, and since I started learning Japanese, all of these people that like I never knew, or parts of my family that, you know, who I wasn't aware were also kind of like into Japan, or like my cousin has a Japanese girlfriend, so obviously he's going to be visiting her family and stuff. And it's like, wow, there are actually so many people around me who are as interested in the country as I am. And it's just funny because it had never really come up before, so I didn't even realize. It's just funny how things like that work out. But anyway, this was a photo that he took of like a side street, I think. It's incredibly wonky. The photo itself looks really cool, and I'm terrible at drawing buildings, but I really wanted to give it a go. And then I edited it to heck before I posted it, so it looks much better on my Instagram, but this was how it looked originally. And these are more little doodles. I love this little Konin girl. So yeah, I've just been really trying very hard to just draw freehand, and I've been using these pens they're Tombow, I think. Yeah, they're Tombow. They're the Fudenosuke. They're these brush pens, but they come in a couple of colors. I have a few of these ones. I have them in other colors as well, but these were the main ones that I was using. So they're really nice. This was referenced from, well, actually the dress was referenced from Pinterest, but this girl, the Konin girl, I drew freehand, and I was just really happy with how she came out. I really like this spread, obviously because yellowy, orange colours and blue go well together, so that obviously helps. But yeah, this was just another kind of palette that I had used, and I just really liked how the colours looked together, so I stuck it in as well. And then I did a couple of little doodles around it. I don't know if you can really see them. Yeah, you can. Yeah, so I don't know. It's a nothing page, but I really like it. And then this one again was just a continuation of using those brush pens to draw freehand and not worry about mistakes and whatever. I did use a bit of Tipex when it really bothered me, but not too much. Oh yeah, okay, so I don't like this, but I do like it also because it led me to the more finished idea. So did these sketches. You know, every now and again I start getting into my kind of fantasy designs. She is supposed to represent time, and kind of the concept for her is that she is obviously this incredibly abstract concept, but given a physical form, which I decided she looked kind of like this. She takes a human form as well, who just likes living in the country and feeding her chickens. And then I was like, oh, chickens, like the chicken and the egg. The kind of that, I guess you could call it a bit of like a time dilemma. So I was like, oh, it'd be really cute if like this notion of time itself, loving chickens. And then, yeah, I'll show you like the finished picture. I also did my very first like audio illustration, and I will also play that as I put up the image, because I was like, I have this really specific idea of like how she sounds. Oh yeah, so then these were the concepts for space, which I decided on a whale, which was very original. But actually, what brought me to that idea was in Final Fantasy, there's a summon called Bismarck, which is he usually appears as a whale, and I was always a bit like, well, why is he called that? He has nothing to do with the Bismarck. I know he becomes like an airship later on in like the later games, but still it's a bit like, he's a whale, why is he called Bismarck? Like, it's just so weird. So I was like, no, I'm gonna take Bismarck, the whale, and I'm going to turn him into space, and I'm going to make this whale summon in my own kind of way. Sorry if you can hear like clicks or whatever. There's a van outside. I don't know what's going on. Oh my god, I went down such a rabbit hole then as well of like the physics of time and space and then dimensions and all of this. So that's what this kind of came about, where like space and three-dimensional space and 2D and 1D and all of that. And I was really trying to like grapple with all of these like physics theories and mathematics and everything. I was like, I just want to draw a whale. I always kind of end up going down those kind of rabbit holes of research, and it's like I can't be applying too much realism to this. It's a fantasy creature, like just stop. So this actually became kind of like the jump off point for the finished image, which again I did another little audio clip for. I'll play it, but I am going to tell you that it's a little bit choppy, so sorry about that. It does clip a little bit, but it gives you the idea of what I was going for anyway. So that's space. This lad here is Atomos. Again, comes from, well, I don't know if he exists anywhere else. I only know him from Final Fantasy. He's that big thing, I don't know what it is, but it's just a giant mouth essentially that like sucks everything into it. I think he's supposed to represent like a black hole. I mean it's a gravity related magic summon. So I was like, okay, I want to redo him. And because he's gravity based, he can be related to space, like just the concept of space, obviously. And he can still be a gravity related like creature. But maybe if I make him into another type of fish, you understand, a sea creature. So I was looking around, and it was from these sketches where I'd been looking at blue whales and then killer whales, and then sunfish came up, and I was like, oh, aren't they supposed to be like really stupid? I don't know. I've heard that sunfish are really dumb. So I was like, perfect. Essentially, he's going to be an idiot where like he always forgets to not open his mouth. So he does, and he always like sucks everything into it, and he's just really annoying, and he gets stuck in water. I love that drawing. I really wish I hadn't coloured around it, just because I really loved his expression in it. He just looks so kind of like, oh, well, here I am again. But anyway, he's an idiot, and I love him very much. Some more doodles. Oh no, I'd never realised that bled. It must have got wet. Oh, I hate this sketchbook. Anyway, we're so close to the end. Just more doodles, more, line drawings, whatever. This is a redraw of a very, very old character. I think I called her like Unki or Sangai. She had like 2 names. But anyway, she doesn't have a name now anymore because I can't remember what the inspiration for those names was, so whatever. But anyway, I wanted to redraw her. She's supposed to be a seer, I think, or like a shaman of some kind. Yeah, I don't know. I liked her design though. So she hasn't actually changed at all. I like the drawing. I actually really like how the skull came out. And these were just little doodles of like meals that I had. It's funny because with something like this where I did a sketch beforehand and then I refined it and everything, and I like how it came out, but I actually really prefer these. Just because like there was no preparation, it was like they're totally wonky, but I really like them. It's funny. These drawings as well, I really like these. They're wonky, they look really like messy, but I just love them. I love this one. Okay, so these last few pages now are just going to be Conin because I didn't know what else to draw, and I really love how they all came out, and it's actually inspired me to create a little kind of like set group of them, because before I was always kind of like just drawing random ones, whatever design that kind of came into my head, and now I'm kind of like, oh, I really like that design and I really like that design, and now I'm kind of like, okay, they need names, they need to be set characters, so I'm going to do that I think at some point, because I love her with her little leaf hat, and I love her with her little gap tooth. I love her. And she appeared in, I think, my last sketchbook as well, in kind of like a different iteration, but I love her even more here. She's so like sneaky looking, but I really love her. I love her too. And I love this one, even though she doesn't have a face. I ended up not drawing her face again because, I don't know, I just wanted to draw the pose. I didn't really care about the face, but I really like how it came out. This was all fountain pen. These were all the Fudenosuke pens. And we're here at the end. There's this girl, I adore her. She's the one actually, after drawing her, I was like, okay, that's it now. I actually have to draw like a big group of them. and they need names and they need like jobs and everything. So I really want to do that at some point. I just love her so much. I just love her face and her little tulip hat. And I love this little one down here as well. So yeah, I have started my new sketchbook, as in started, I've like labeled it as mine. So maybe I'll record another video at some point where I actually, you know, come up or refine the designs of some of these girls, because I think that would be really fun, a fun little video. This one, actually, I suppose I better explain it. She's being like birthed from the earth, because like the concept of the Conine are that they don't reproduce. They're born by magic. I feel like actually subconsciously it was inspired by the Narnia books, where there's like that point where Narnia is like coming into existence, and like there's that image of like the earth bubbling or something, or like lumps coming up from the earth, and then they kind of split open and the animals come out of it. And I was like, that's kind of how I want them to be born. They're literally born out of the earth. So that was kind of a crude illustration of that. I could probably do a better one at another point, but that was just that. I was just trying to finish the sketchbook. And now it is the end. Wow. That's that. Thanks for watching. Bye.